Welcome to our program for men only. We're having fun today, talking about men's issues and things that'll help a young man advance and grow into manhood. And we've got on today's program, we've got Zach Anderson. Zach, good to have you. Now Zach, he's a little young, you know. We just teased him about not shaving. He said, I shaved a week ago. What's the problem? So he's got, we were telling him that, you know, before long he'll have to shave more often, and he really becomes a man when he has to trim his nose hairs and shave his ears. But anyway, we're having a little bit of fun with it. We got Kim Sear, who's been with us on the program a number of times. He's the gray head. He's the man of wisdom, and his hair, I remember when his hair didn't have any gray in it. We've been around, we've been friends that long. All right. And then we've got Adam Stoakes. We sort of have about 3 generations, maybe 4 here. You know, Zach's the younger generation. Adam, you just turned 30, didn't you?
30.
Oh man, he's ancient. I'm in that close to 50, and Kim's kicking up 60, 70 in that area. So yeah. So we've got a broad spectrum here. We think we can talk to just about anybody out there, but we're probably going to talk about an issue that maybe mainly affects young men, but yet as we were talking earlier, it can affect it's affected a number of generations today. So and I believe it's affecting manhood, because I think I shared last program, Zach, when you were on, I was reading an article, and I think I saw it later on television. They were talking about it, and it was about really at what stage and at what time men grow up. And it was really an article about women that are having a hard time finding men to marry today. And they were saying that a lot of women are looking for older men today, because one of the things that they're saying, like maybe they call it the greatest generation, you know, your dad's generation, that World War II generation, that a lot of men, quote, became men at 16, 17, 18 years old, because through the Depression, they had to take responsibilities, they had to grow up and mature. Right. And then, you know, maybe Kim, we're both graduated high school in the 70s, but our generation, it might have been in the 21, 22, 23-year-old range. Mm-hmm. And they're saying today that men are not really becoming men and really ready to marry and settle down till close to 29, they're saying today.
Up there.
Man, but one of the major factors that they're saying, that they said in this report, this was not a Christian report, it was just, I saw it on secular news. They said that one of the major contributing factors was that this generation today, it's the whole video game, it's the computer, it's the internet generation, and that kids spend so much time there, especially young men, that they don't grow up to, they're ready to take responsibility in life until they're close to Adam's age. And now Adam breaks all of that, because Adam's got 3 kids and a house and trying to buy another house, and I mean, all right, you know, and he's married, you know, the guy got married, and wow, you know, he's paying his bills and advancing at work.
Still married to the same woman.
Still married to the same. Now, Zach, I want to come to you. Now, what do you see in your generation? Now, would you agree with that report? I mean,
100%.
Okay, what do you see?
I mean, you know, video games, you know, the newest video game will come out and kids will spend like 20 hours on the game. I mean, I've seen other guys from just MI who've got a job actually will take time off of work to play the game, to get better with it, to learn the maps better, to, you know, say, oh, I'm number 1, when it's, you know, it's just a game.
So they forfeit work to play the game.
Exactly.
So you've got friends or people you go to school with that'll spend how many hours?
20 hours. I mean, they'll stay up all night, they'll get the game, and they'll start playing at like 6 o'clock, stop playing maybe noon the next day to eat lunch or something, and then they'll get right back on to play again.
Wow.
I mean, just...
Okay, let me ask something. How many hours would they spend studying for a test?
None.
As little as possible.
See how much time you get before class and the test. You got 10 minutes, they're going to cram as much as they got right there if they're not talking to their friends.
Wow.
I've seen kids, you know, they're studying real fast, and their kids will talk to their friends, and they go, you know, I should have studied for this, you know. I don't even remember reading this chapter. You know, their grade shows it.
Okay. Now, Adam, you looked up some statistics on this. What did you find about this?
For instance, you know, one of the hot games out right now is Call of Duty Black Ops, and me and Zach play it. I'm not against video games by any means, I think they're okay when they're used within limits and boundaries, but I found that as of May of this year, there had been 1.2 billion hours played.
1.2 billion with a B.
With a B. 1.2 billion hours played worldwide of Call of Duty Black Ops. Now, that's just the latest game out. There was the Halo series, and then there's World of Warcraft that is real big. There's multiple games. That's just one stat, and that's just mind-blowing. You know, that 1.2 hours that could have gone to something else to advance society.
Anything. Yeah,
went to
exactly.
killing, people on a video game. Which,
And that's not, what's the one that's Car Thief, where you
Grand
got
Theft
to
Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, all right, where you steal a car and then
Yep.
eventually you had to spend some time with a prostitute and
you
stuff.
could spend time with a prostitute, and when she got out of the car, you could beat her up and get your money back, and then drive off.
Instilling good
Oh
moral
wow,
values.
man, yeah, that sounds
And
real.
that's just typical of games today. That's not even half as bad as it gets with games today.
Really?
Yeah.
But,
Really. Now I want to say, all right, like Adam just said, I've not played the I think I got the original Call of Duty because I'm a bit of a war buff. I like World War II stuff, and I think I played that a little bit, and I got it. But one of the things that I saw for me personally, now I've had. I played Command and Conquer, which at one point that was one of the top games out there. I played. I'm a Civil War buff, so I've had a couple Civil War games. But Kim, I got those games, and I remember one. Somebody gave it to me, and I liked it. And I think I liked it a lot. And I found out. I think after I spent 6 hours refighting the Battle of Gettysburg.
Oh yeah.
And I realized I'd spent 6 hours,
But this is nice.
and I thought, in that 6 hours, I missed opportunities with my wife, I missed opportunities with my kids, that I took that game and I thought, as much as I enjoy this, I like my family more, and I threw it away.
There you go.
I threw it. I remember I went to the office, church, and I went and threw it in the dumpster. And then after about 6 months, I thought, I can handle it again.
Oh boy, here we go.
And I went and bought another one. And when I started playing it, that same,
Yep. Thrill.
yeah, now you called it something else earlier. That same thing, literally, it's like it gripped my heart. It's like I was liking this, and this thing could almost consume me. I played it once, took it back out, and threw it away again because is the game necessarily bad? But it was doing something it was getting a hold of me. Now you called it something earlier. Addiction.
An addiction. I mean, that's it's just like anything else. Something that gets a hold of you. I mean, you can be addicted to alcohol. You can be addicted to porn. I mean, you can be addicted to gambling. I mean, there's a lot of things you can be addicted to. Video games is no different.
Well,
No, it's no different. It's just one of those things that just consumes you, and I've seen it destroy marriages, and destroy families. It sounds silly, but it's true. I'm thoroughly convinced it's the reason.
okay. Now, you were saying something. What do you see, Zach? I mean, would you agree with that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
an addiction? Why?
It's just, your adrenaline rush. I mean, you're in a game, you're going around, someone jumps out and you jump, and it gets into you, and it's fun to do that. I mean, your heart beats fast. It's like, oh, I love doing this, and you want to go again and again, and then 4 or 5 hours later,
They get closer and closer to reality all the time, and I think that's what it is.
Now, Adam, what do you think? I'm ready to jump off on that, but before I do, I wanted to. What do you see? I mean, do you think it's an addiction?
Absolutely. I grew up in, kind of the video game boom generation with Atari and Nintendo and all the stuff Zach's just read about. But, I've seen it grip people and take people. And when there's no limits, they become totally addicted to it. And it is an adrenaline rush. It is a challenge thing. It is a respect thing, even now with being online, to be better than the next guy and to prove to the world that you're better at this than the next guy with the ranking system they have.
Yeah.
It's set up in such a way that you continue to rank up and level up all of everything you can do on the game. And you could spend literally, 30, 40 days, 24-hour periods playing this and still not reach the highest rank.
yeah.
And yet people do it. People spend all that time, 40 days of gameplay to rank up and to become better, and they just get so engrossed in it, it just takes them over, and that's all they can do. And my little brother was in college, and he had roommates. And one of his roommates, actually two of the guys, but one was really bad. They would get out of class, go right back to the Call of Duty, and they would play that all day. They'd log 12, 13 hours every day playing that game. Go to class sometimes, come back, no studying, and just their life became being addicted to that adrenaline rush and that challenge.
I've done some studies in terms of pornography. Part of the addiction is not just the visual things, but it's the chemicals that get released in your system when you're looking at that, and by it's a vicarious kind of thing. You sort of put yourself into that, but it's an adrenaline rush. It's and the thing about pornography, it's all fantasy. There's nothing real to it whatsoever. And you become addicted, or you get that chemical release by virtue of a false picture, a false image, and almost like they're talking about that. It's not just the game; it's the adrenaline you can get addicted to.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And now we wouldn't call it this, but it's not. Is it really much different than drug addiction?
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. Addiction's addiction, dude.
Exactly.
Now, Zach, how much time do you spend on video games?
Not that much.
Not that much. Why?
I got a full-time job.
You got a what?
Full-time job.
Huh? You make money?
Yeah, I make money.
You got some money in your pocket?
I do.
Huh? So
He's buying supper.
yeah. He's taking us all out to eat afterwards. But so in one sense, I think I said one of the reasons I'm proud of you is that a lot of reasons. But as a young man, you're making a choice between fantasy and unproductive things to be productive. And you got some change in your pocket.
I do.
You got more than change. You got some bills in your pocket.
I got some bills.
Did you steal any of it?
No, you don't need to.
You don't need to. You didn't sell some illegal stuff to get it, did you?
Nope.
So you worked for it.
I worked for it.
As compared to spending hours in non-productive work. We're going to come back and talk some more about this issue and how we might be able to help some young men become men by dealing with this video game addiction. Join us in a few minutes.